All right, so now I decided to add this segment in this form with Ray Lewis because I thought that it was very important. It showed you a lot of the tactics that the so-called Black Power internet revolutionaries will try to use on a so-called black man or so-called black male who rejects their low-level thinking and ideologies. As you guys saw earlier in the video, Ray Lewis pretty much dismantled and embarrassed Shannon Sharpe, who's one of the patron saints. Well, he's one of the modern day patron saints, and he's at the vanguard of a lot of internet revolutionary rhetoric. He seems to enjoy his new status as a so-called pro-black dude on TV, even though, as I've stated, he has a Caucasian woman when he goes home. But like I've stated, consistency is not the hallmark of the so-called pro-black or modern-day woke Negro. They pretty much just talk it without walking it. They have no end game. As you saw with Shannon, he has no end game. Ray Lewis is a lot more pragmatic. Right? I'm not an advocate of either one. I don't know Ray Lewis at all, so I don't know really how his brain works. But what I will say is that he does seem to be much more of a pragmatist than Shannon Sharpe, and he does seem to be much more out in the field dealing with the issues that he's passionate about than Shannon Sharpe is, or Colin Kaepernick, who just seems to be ready to be an icon online at the behest of his female handler, Ness Nitty. And speaking of her, she's the one who decided to levy a racially charged, denigrating attack against Ray Lewis because of the way he handled himself on the show with Shannon Sharpe, and because of the stance that he took with the Baltimore Ravens, advocating that they not necessarily go after Colin Kaepernick. She decided that she was going to analogize him to the character of Steven from Django, played by Samuel L. Jackson. If you remember that movie, Samuel L. Jackson played a very memorable character. He played the so-called super house Negro. He wanted to watch out for Master. But as I've stated in the past, as we all know, it's really the pro-black Negro who wants the hug from the white man. So Ness Nitty was projecting when she created that picture of Ray Lewis hugging the owner of the Baltimore Ravens. And I guarantee you, if we were to go into Ness Nitty's sexual history, she's done much more than hug white men. I pretty much promise you that, especially to get where she's at. I'm sure that she swallowed many a pint of semen from many a Caucasian man, allegedly. All right, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see what they have to say.
All right, welcome back. Ray Lewis and Eric Davis are back. Let's move to Miami, where Ryan Tannehill went down with a non-contact leg injury in practice today, and people immediately started naming the Dolphins as a possible landing spot for who else? Colin Kaepernick. It turns out there's no structural damage in Tannehill's knee, but it's unclear how long he'll be out. Cowherd, would Kaepernick be a good fit with the Dolphins?
He wore that Fidel Castro shirt, right? Fidel Castro is a very polarizing figure in the Cuban community.
Well, the reason why Kaepernick wore that shirt is because, as I've been saying incessantly, most of these chaos-inducing movements are really based in communist beliefs. I've said that over and over and over again. And every once in a while, I get people in my comments, oh, everything has to be about communism. Look, brother, all you got to do is do the real research. And when I say research, I'm not talking about watching a YouTube clip and then claiming that you're informed. But like that's how most woke Negroes do their research. They watch a YouTube clip and then all of a sudden they know every damn thing. All right. If you get to the bottom of most of these, of what they call discordianism, or ab ordo chaos, order out of chaos, that's what they use. The Hegelian dialectic. They use a lot of these movements to cause dysfunction, discord, chaos in a society so that they can bring in a new structure. Like I've stated in the past, Kaepernick is an agent of chaos. That's his role. Right? His controller is this chick, Ness Nitty, who seems to be plugged in amongst the higher ups. But, let's just continue on. Like I said, people just don't pick up on it when he's playing a character. That's why every time you see him, he has a Malcolm X hat on. He has a T-shirt with Malcolm X and Fidel Castro. He's telling you what his beliefs are. He's a socialist, dude. Right? Socialist / communist. That's what he is. An agent of chaos.
Which is significant in South Florida.
Yeah.
You know, I came up with a team today, and I thought to myself, Carolina's the team. No, just hear me out. Okay, I just want you to hear me out. First of all, I've always said wherever Kaepernick goes, you need a strong personality to be quarterback, or he'll.
And look at his T-shirt. His T-shirt says, "Like minds think alike." So he didn't just wear that T-shirt like he alleged to commemorate Malcolm X. He wore the T-shirt to commemorate both and to show that he is an advocate for both, because he believes that they had the same exact viewpoints and stances and goals, right? Being so-called for the people. All right. So, you know, these are things that you have to really pay very close attention to.
Or he'll overwhelm them. Secondly, they've done some read option stuff. Third of all, they have a veteran head coaching staff that can handle any controversy. And fourth, they have a good defense. You don't need your quarterback to throw 45 times and carry you. I think Carolina's going to be the landing spot.
No.
I don't think Miami works for me.
No.
Carolina, I doubt if they're going to pick up Kaepernick. They have a very conservative owner. I just don't see that.
Colin, one, they mean mugged on each other on the field after a game last year. I don't know if you remember that iconic photo. Kaepernick, to me, over Twitter, was trolling Cam Newton 2 years ago about the dab. Kaepernick feels like he started it when he was kissing his bicep.
Yeah, but that nonsense about Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick mean mugging, that was started by you. That was started by Whitlock when he was in his full bloom trying to attack Kaepernick for his stances. All right, that had nothing to do with anything. They were not mean mugging each other on the field. That was Whitlock trying to create an antagonistic energy between the two of them where there was nothing there.
That would be, no, that's a bad pairing. Listen, Kaepernick is making it very tough on himself to get back into the league because of the people he's associated with. I've said it from the very beginning. If you're an NFL owner, if you're an NFL head coach or some type of executive, when you start discussing Kaepernick or bring him into your environment, you run the risk of all the people around him accusing you of being a bigot. Steve Bisciotti and Ray Lewis, victims of this right now. Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, has done the right thing, being transparent, showed an interest in Kaepernick. No good deed goes unpunished. Kaepernick's girlfriend tweets out this picture. This is what it's analogizing Steve Bisciotti to a slave owner from.
And please keep in mind, Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend, so-called girlfriend, is not a so-called black woman, right? According to records, supposedly she's Middle Eastern. Allegedly, she's Middle Eastern, right? So once again, this is a case of another super liberal woman trying to dictate things to the so-called black male, trying to tell him what he should be thinking and what he should be incensed about. We already saw it with the LeVar Ball situation with that big Amazonian Caucasian-looking, Bigfoot-looking bitch, Sarah Spain. Right? We saw it with her. Now we see it with Ness Nitty. So-called black man, if you don't think how I want you to think, I'm going to denigrate you. I'm going to call you a house nigger. Right? Because I want to embarrass you. We see that with women of all races, all these liberal women. The so-called liberal black woman does the same thing. If you don't worship, if every so-called black man doesn't declare his devotion to dark brown chocolate skin, he's lynched. He hates his mother. He hates his daughter. He hates his sister. He hates everybody. All right? And once again, I blame it on you so-called black men. Why is that? Because these women are supposed to be put in their place quick, fast, and in a fucking hurry, man. How do you do that? Do you have to put hands on them? No. Do you have to necessarily curse them out? No, but sometimes you do. You just have to let them know that their opinion and sometimes their fucking life is not even relevant to you. All right? They feed off of, most of these liberal women feed off of negativity. They hate themselves. They feed off of attention. That's why they make these outlandish and provocatory statements. All right? They don't care who they disrespect because they have no respect for anybody else. All right? She would never send out this type of a meme to a Caucasian Jewish man, right? If he was supporting somebody who may have had Nazi ties or something like that. She wouldn't, she wouldn't send that out. And that's an extreme example on my part, because as far as we know, this man, Steve Busciotti, doesn't have a history of overt racism. He is a Caucasian elite, so I'm sure that there is some racial issues in his past. I wouldn't doubt it at all. But there's nothing on the public record, so it is what it is. And my thing is this, especially to a lot of these super liberal women who want to dictate to black men, if you feel that strongly against the so-called white elite and the so-called white power structure, why do you mimic what they say to do culturally? Why do you dress like whores and sluts? Why do you sleep with multiple men? Why do you believe in wanton abortions? See, the liberal woman wants to hold everybody else accountable except for her damn self. That's why I say they're a fucking joke. All right? And that's why I always tell a lot of these silly super liberal black women who come on my page and try to start arguments with me, I'll give you two responses. If you persist in trying to argue, you have to go, because you're not adding anything to me wisdom-wise. That's for fucking sure. And you're not giving me no vagina. So how are you relevant to me? Please explain that. You're not relevant. Okay? You're your man's problem. You got to go talk things out with your man. Hopefully your man could teach you something. Don't come on my page trying to tell me anything about, you got to love the dark chocolate skin and all. Every man has their preference. And when I said I'm referencing the Gilbert Arenas video that I did a while back. All right, I stated in that video very succinctly that Gilbert Arenas was an idiot. He was somebody who was uninformed, who was disinformed, right? And he needed to be shown certain things, but he did have the right to his preference, right? But a lot of times these so-called black women, they have so many issues. The liberal black woman, let me specify that. They have so many issues in their personal life because of the feminist tendencies that they've embraced. They have so many dysfunctions in their life. They come on the internet and they try to promote these woman worshiping philosophies. And you see it manifest itself here with this female Ness Nitty. All these liberal women suffer from this same issue, not just the liberal black woman. All right. All these women believe that they can dictate things to a man. The liberal women do. And you see the level of disrespect here. I mean, now, what if Ray Lewis was to tell her how she should dress and how she should conduct herself? He'd be a misogynist and a chauvinist. But she can make a meme showing him basically as a house nigga because he didn't want to co-sign her bullshit. And deep down, I don't even know if they even want Kaepernick to sign with a team. I just think that they like his name in the news. All right, because if he really wanted to sign with a team, he would have spoken out about it already.
From Django and Ray to a slave. This woman is not black. She's a Muslim woman. She's not black. This is racist. It's over the top. If we put out some photo analogizing something in the Muslim community as provocative and sensational and as bigoted as this, the Muslim community wouldn't stand for it. But somehow we're standing for this.
Of course you're standing for that, because they already know, these other nations or these other races, they know that so-called blacks don't have a culture. So she knows she can hop on with that fake woke sentiment, right? Because that falls right in line with the woke sentiment. I'm woke, so I can tell so-called black men how to rebel against the white oppressor, even though I'm not so-called black myself, right? That falls in line to being woke. Remember, all these woke people, they're all super liberal. They all want to march down the street holding signs and talking about, hell no, we won't go, all that silly shit. All right? They're all down with the same program. And if you ever pay attention, most of these women that you see in those type of marches, they're all degenerates. They got a bunch of tattoos. They're bisexual. They got a bunch of rings going through their lip and through their breasts and all this other shit. All right? They're the dregs of society, the vast majority of them. And so is Kaepernick's woman. Right? As the brother Whitlock just said, she's a Muslim. That was his way of saying Middle Eastern. But if you ever see how she's dressed, she's always dressed like a damn whore. All right? Always wearing form-fitting outfits and having her breasts out. That's why I say her job was to act as a liaison and activate a certain personality within Kaepernick. And I don't care what anybody says about that. That's what I see. I believe he's a monarch athlete and she's his handler.
That Kaepernick's girlfriend can do this to people for no reason other than Steve Bisciotti made the mistake of showing an interest in Colin Kaepernick, and they didn't immediately sign her on her timeline.
It's all right. It's all right, Whit. Trust me, it's all right. You can't. I don't think you can put that all on Cap. Just people gonna be people, man. I'm telling you. Just I got kids. I got grown kids. So you know me. The last thing I'm gonna do is entertain ignorance.
Exactly. He ain't finna go back and forth. In other words, in cold word, he's saying, I'm not finna go back and forth with a silly bitch. All right? And that's the same thing that I just said. I'm not here to go back and forth arguing with no damn woman. That's why a lot of you brothers have all these health problems by the time you get in your 40s and your 50s. You just spend all your late teens into your 30s arguing with bitches. All right? It's not your job to be arguing with no damn woman. Make sure that you have your life together and have your shit together so that when a woman start acting up, you could tell her, no, get to stepping. Have a nice day. Don't let the doorknob hit you. No problem. You brothers always arguing with these broads. All right? That's what Ray Lewis, that's basically what he said. When he said, I have grown kids, that's his way of saying, I don't argue with little kids. All right? That's why I said these women, they're nothing but grown children. That's all they are. On the internet, trying to analogize him to a house nigga and adding him. Like, that's a bitch who's looking for a back and forth. Why are you looking for a back and forth with Ray Lewis when you should be looking for Colin, looking to make sure that his stomach is full and his scrotum is empty? That's your fucking job. All right? Why are you trying to get attention from Ray Lewis for?
I ain't got time for ignorance, right? The good book says even a fool is counted wise until he opens his mouth. So I don't pay attention to too much foolishness.
Well said.
But just take Cap and try to remove Cap from that and just let the people around him be whoever they're being, because I think he's still trying to get a job.
See, Ray Lewis is implying that Kaepernick is being controlled. See, some of these brothers, they know little stuff. They know or they suspect stuff. The spirit a lot of times shows brothers certain things. Like Ray Lewis, I'm sure he probably don't know anything about MK Ultra and all that other type of stuff, but he could tell that Kaepernick is being puppeted. All right, he can tell that. And I know that. I'm sure of that Kaepernick's being puppeted. I mean, it's clear that you have certain Caucasian liberal factions that are puppeting him and using his handler, his so-called girlfriend, as the middle person, as the mediator.
I think.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to get a job, and you're right. That has nothing to do with it.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna rewind it back so that Ray can speak one more time because he definitely alluded to a few things.
To do with him.
Of showing an interest in Colin Kaepernick, and they didn't immediately sign her on her timeline.
It's all right. It's all right, Whit. Trust me, it's all right. You can't.
He said, trust me, it's all right. I'm not thinking about that hoe.
You can't. I don't think you can put that all on Cap. Just people gonna be people, man. I'm telling you. AKA
hoes gonna be hoes.
I got kids. I got grown kids. So you know me. The last thing I'm gonna do is entertain ignorance.
Exactly. You don't go back and forth with women on the internet. All right. The only reason why I answer certain females who try to come against certain things that I say is because it's my channel. So, a lot of times I go in the comments and I feel that it's my duty to respond to certain comments because, sometimes if you don't answer certain people, they believe that they're correct. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes, the scriptures tell you sometimes you have to answer a fool according to their folly. Sometimes you don't answer a fool according to their folly. The discretion is up to you. But sometimes I choose to do so because you have people who, they're highly impressionable. They might not know anything, and they read through the comments and they can be easily persuaded or dissuaded. But Ray Lewis, is showing his wisdom. You know that you don't go back and forth in that nonsense. He can't win that. I mean, what is he going to go back and say, oh, no, I'm not that to her? Why are you worried about proving something to the next man's woman for? The hell with her.
I ain't got time for ignorance, right? The good book says even a fool is counted wise until he opens his mouth. So I don't pay attention to too much foolishness. But just take Cap and try to remove Cap from that and just let the people around him be whoever they're being, because I think he's still trying to get a job. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to get a job, and you're right. That has nothing to do with him. A lot of this, and I think a lot of it, the reason why you're saying don't bring him into an organization is because of the fact that that is going to be a part of it, could be a part of it, all the peripheral stuff. But the question is he a good fit for the Dolphins? I was thinking about this. I was like, no, but then the more I thought about it, with Adam Gase, he actually is. Yeah, he actually, with the way Adam Gase. First of all, that's a strong enough personality. Adam Gase is a strong enough personality to deal with Cap and whatever else comes around. Adam Gase is also a pretty smart football coach. Adam Gase did what Bill Belichick couldn't do. He was able to win with Tim Tebow. He was able to put a system in place that would utilize the skill set of Tim Tebow. Okay? So I'm just saying, I think you look at it. Remember, he was also trying to get the 49ers job where Cap was the quarterback. And he had something in mind what he wanted to do with him. So he actually could work out for them if that were the case.
I would go back to Cowherd's point. The Cuban community is very strong in Miami. The guys throwing on a Fidel Castro T-shirt and trying to say positive things about Fidel Castro. People are talking about the NFL as if it's not a business. It's a business.
Thank you, sir. I mean, that was my point when I did the Michael Vick video. When Michael Vick versus the Pro-black Mafia. You know, these people, they want to talk all this shit about all these emotions. These dudes are about their bottom line. Shannon Sharpe, that's why I say Shannon Sharpe is playing a fucking role. All right? I would like to know what he really think off camera. Because to me, he's caught up sniffing his own fumes. I cannot possibly believe that he believes half that bullshit he be talking.
People are... Oh, why would you consult your fans? What business doesn't consult its customer base? No successful one?
No, I saw something yesterday. It was interesting. There was an online poll, and I apologize, I forget what media personality had it. And it said, in fact, I think it was Bonnie Bernstein, a respected journalist and a friend of ours. Bonnie had a poll, and she said, if Kaepernick was named starter, would you be mad, upset, no problem, so-and-so, consider not going to the games? And 12% said, I'm out. Now, my take, people were saying, well, it's only 12%. And I thought, 12%, if I was a grocery store owner, and somebody said, you're going to put a product in, 12% of the people don't show up, I'd be like, okay, I'm taking the product out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you had $100 and somebody said, I'm only going to allow you to keep $88, you're going to say, why? And when they gave you the reason, you're going to do whatever you can to rectify that, so that you can have all 100. That's the bottom line. I mean, this dude Kaepernick caused them to lose a lot of ratings last year at the start of the NFL season. See, and this is my thing, and this is what a lot of internet revolutionaries don't understand. Everybody's not going to live in your delusional world where you could just bitch and complain, but on the other side you want to hug white people and y'all are just not consistent. And if you're going to be a revolutionary, be that all the way, right? Go out there, give your life, start a race war, do your thing, right? Or if you're going to be everybody come together, then do like Martin Luther King did and talk about, hugging everybody and loving everybody. But you niggas, y'all trying to mix the two shits together. Like y'all are trying to be Martin X, right? Malcolm Luther King. That shit don't mix, man. And that's why I don't respect that, period. And at the end of the day, if the NFL's looking at a guy who they feel like is going to make them lose hundreds of millions of dollars from their bottom line, of course they're going to stop him from coming back into the league. Just is what it is. And like I said, the nigga has no end game anyway, and he's a pawn.
I don't think a lot of people would bail. I'm not saying it's a huge number. But to your point, if I own a team, all it takes is 2 suite owners to be ticked off, and I've got calls at midnight. It's not necessarily loss of revenue, loss of this. If you're unemployed and want to be employed, if you're employed, I'll deal with some headaches. But if you're not and are seeking employment, I'm just counting headaches. And 12% is 12% of headaches.
They're calling it, okay, it's 12%. So on that poll, I wish there had been another poll and said how many of the people would bail if the team started winning. And the team continued to win.
You know how hard winning is, though.
No, I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. Like that 12% that would bail, and let's just say like a place like Miami, where you say if it were 12%, and we'll use that for Miami right now. How long has it been since they won? How long has it been since they were able to do anything?
Yeah, but is Colin Kaepernick going to be the reason why they're winning? Like, once again, Colin Kaepernick hadn't done shit in the NFL since his handler, Harbaugh, left. Like, come on.
Make a valid point, Eric.
I think they come back.
You make a valid point. But that's not how you operate a business. If an accountant, someone that monitors your books, you're losing 3% because of X, Y, and Z. You eliminate that X, Y, and Z.
This is the one thing
you don't go, well, if we serve my dad owned a bar and we started, one of his customers would die, two,
But
three,
wait,
and it's
this
a
is the one
problem.
thing. This is the one thing about the NFL. It's not a bottom line business. It's really not. And that's not the way you look at it, Ray. You know that the way guys are paid, the proportional way guys are paid within the locker room and things like that. There are guys on a team that their value is not even on the field.
Yeah.
It's raising other players and teaching them. So I'm saying it's not a.
So that's all the more reason why you wouldn't bring in Kaepernick. And that's bullshit. Every business is a bottom line business. It's the reason why they sign multi-billion-dollar contracts with these networks. So come on, to say the NFL is not a bottom line business, everything is about either red or black. Just knock it off.
It's not a bottom line business, so you have to look at some of the other aspects of it,
Right.
as opposed to just the dollars and cents of it.
Well, I'll just say this. I don't care who you are. When you decide, hey, I'm going to pay a guy $800,000, $2 million, $5 million, you don't want to be analogized to Leonardo DiCaprio Django character as a thank you.
But that's not Cap. We just said that's not
not-
Cap.
that's not
Cap
Cap.
didn't put that out.
That's the people around him, though, and you subject yourself to that. He's got the people that think they're helping him are killing him. I'm at a loss. All right, coming up.
Well, no, they don't think they're helping them. They know that they're controlling them. All right? And I believe that Ray Lewis understands that. That's why he's staying above the fray. That's why I say, look, man, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't think things are going to end very well for Kaepernick. But we'll see. We'll find out. There's a history of when they're done with their assets, they normally have them go out in a pretty spectacular fashion. And I'll leave it at that. But anyway, salute to Ray Lewis, at least on this topic. He carried himself in an upstanding way. He was able to reveal the duplicity and the self-deceitfulness of some of these television characters who I believe are playing a role. And we'll see. I'm sure that this issue is going to continue. I try to avoid this Kaepernick topic, but, when different aspects come out, I will deal with it, especially if brothers are constantly asking me in the comments or in the messaging to speak on certain things about it. But anyway, peace.